So let us talk about class versus object. What is a class? What is an object? Mostly people say that everything in the world is an object and there is a class for it. So let us understand what does it mean. See, class is coming from classification. So if you take anything in the world, you can say that this belongs to so and so class. So you can categorize everything. Yes. So if you take group of people at a college, then you can say that these students belongs to computer science. So there's a class of computer science. And this student belongs to electronics. So there's a class of electronics. So you are classifying based on the subject or the course they are going through. It means that classification is based on the criteria that you are adopting. So you are grouping set of students based on their course. So there's a class for computer science and the class for electronics. But if you see the students, both electronic and these are students only. So students is again a class. This is one of the classification. These are the students, these are the employees. This is one classification, categorization. Alright. Then both students and employees are human beings. So yes, again there is a classification. These are human beings and these are birds and these are reptiles. So there are many classes. So classification is based on some criteria or the common things that you find in them. Right? So we define classes in our daily life. Any four-wheeled vehicle in which there is a driver and some people are sitting at the back or beside the driver, then we say it's a car. If there are goods loaded at the back, then we say it's a truck. So this is a classification, depend on the property we are defining that there's a truck and there's a car and both are vehicle again. So vehicle is again a class. So in this way, if I take examples like human beings, human being is a class. So there's a class, human, and you are an object of human being class and myself is an object of human being class. And a class, car. So BMW X1, I guess it's a car, and Camry Toyota is also a car. So this is an object of a car. This is an object of a car. So and this is a class. So looking at the objects we classify. Like looking at me, you can say, oh, this is a human. So what I am? I am an object. And what you said, human, that is a class. Looking at this Camry, you said it's a car. So this is an object and this is the definition that you are using. You are using the class name. So class is a definition and object is an instance. Now let us take example. Suppose a civil engineer has made a plan of a house. These are rooms in that house. So he made a plan of a house, right? This is the entrance of a house and all. Now a civil engineer has made this plan. So suppose the civil engineer is making this plan for making quarters or houses for the employees of some organization. So some organization is making a colony or quarters for their employees. Then they have approved this plan. Then based on this plan, all the houses are constructed. There are many houses constructed based on this plan. Some companies provide housing facilities for their employees, so they will have some quarters or apartments or independent houses or apartments, and all the apartments will be similar only. They follow the same design. So design is one, and these are the houses or the apartments or the flats that are based on this design. So this design or the definition is nothing but class, and these are objects. These are objects. These houses are constructed based on this one. So what is this? This is nothing but blueprint of this object. So this will be having all those things that are defined here in the plan. So that's it. So civil engineer will make this one, and based on this, construction is done. Now let us take another example. Suppose an electronic engineer is making a design of a fingerprint scanner, and for fingerprint scanner he made a design, and this is a circuit diagram. Just imagine that is the circuit diagram. Okay, some ICs are there on this one, so he made some circuit diagram for this one. So this is a circuit diagram. Now this is a thumb scanner or fingerprint scanner, and this is another fingerprint scanner, and this is another fingerprint scanner. All these fingerprint scanners are based on this design. So this is a class, or this is a blueprint of a fingerprint scanner. So what all these are? These are objects. These are all objects of that design, based on that design. So every engineer does some paperwork or designing work, and based on the design, the manufacturing is done following that design. So when you make a product, that product will be having all those things that are there in the design, and you can make many products based on that design. A car company will design a new car, then they will manufacture many cars based on that design. So all those cars are object, and the design that company is holding with it is a class. That's it. So same way, we also want to write a class and create the objects in our program. So how do you define a class? What will be there in the class? What you will use? Here we use ICs and boards and pins. Then in the house example, there will be walls and pillars and roofs. Then what will be there in your class? In our classes, what will be there? I'll show you. Our classes, see, our product, that is software, is related to computation. It's related to computation. So we are making a classes that are more related to computation. So suppose I want to have a class for rectangle, then I will say rectangle class. Then what it will contain? So as we are related to computation, computation needs data, so we'll have only two things, data and the functions. So our class will contain data and function. So data is called as property and function is called as behavior. So what is the data required for rectangle? So rectangle will have length and breadth. So we will have a data that is float, length, and float, breadth. This is about data. Then what are the functions? What computations we can do? We can find area of a rectangle, and this should give us the float result, and we can find perimeter of a rectangle. This also gives a float result. We can find diagonal of a rectangle, means this diagonal of a rectangle. This also gives float result, and so on. So these are set of functions, and this is a data. So if you say data and the function, so now anything in the world you can define in terms of data and its function if it is useful for you. So this is a class. This is a class. I have not written complete class. I have not written the details. So this is more abstract. Now I will create an object rectangle R1, R2, R3. So these are objects. What this R1 will have length, breadth, and area, perimeter, and so on. So functions. R2 will also have length, breadth, and these functions. R3, all these objects will have same thing, like a fingerprint scanner was having everything what was there in the design, and a house was having all the rooms and living hall, everything what was there in the design. So same way, this rectangle object is having everything whatever is given in this design. That's it. This is how we write the classes. We can write down the class for anything in the world. So mostly what type of things we deal in our programming, for that we can see it as a object, and for that we can define it as a class, and based on the class we can create an object and use it. So in programming we define this class and keep it, and in our program, actual program, let us say main function and other set of functions, they will be using these objects. So where to write a class? Shall we write it somewhere else and use it? Yes, if you want. Mostly we write in the same program. We write the class and then there only we use it. This is our practice. Otherwise you can write down some set of classes and keep them in some header files, and you can include the header file and use the objects of a class. So defining a class is different, and creating its object and using it is different. So let us say this I am doing it inside main function, and this is defined here. So mostly as a programmer we write class and the main function there only, so we get confused little bit. But it's not like that. Like design separate. So who will have the design? Engineer will have the design and he will construct the houses. Right? Everything about the design engineer knows. And based on that the houses are constructed. And electronic engineer will have the design and the manufacturing of the product is done based on that design. So designing work is different and manufacturing and using the devices based on that design is different. So same way, writing a class is different work, using a class is different work. If you mix them, then you confuse why the hell I am writing all these things. No, writing the class, complete the design, then use them. So that's all. I have given you the difference between class and an object. So we have defined a class based on the data and the functions, and here we create object and use it. So in the next video I'll show you the syntax, how to define the class, how to create object, how to use the members of an object.